ask you about Amazon and GE. The state and city kicked in about $150 million in infrastructure and tax breaks to get GE 800 new jobs to Boston. As we know, the company's had its troubles since then. So the question is, how far should we go in terms of tax breaks and other incentives to have Amazon HQ2 and its promised 50,000 jobs? And should we even want it, given the fact that all anybody seems to talk around about here is congestion and housing costs? That would, if they did come here, it would just send that through the roof.
Well, we've added 200,000 jobs to our economy over the course of the past 4 years and have more people working here than at any time in state history. And we also have a fairly big presence from Amazon. They have about 6,000 or 7,000 people here, and they just rented 1 million square feet for another 2,000 people. So Amazon's going to have a presence here sort of no matter what. With respect to GE, the vast majority of the state funding that was involved in that was actually investments in property that we own, that they are currently leasing. And that property is a state asset. It wasn't, we didn't write them a check. It wasn't a big tax benefit to them. It was, in fact, betterment investments in property that we own in the Seaport District that they're now occupying.
How do you feel about this?
We should not have spent $125 million to improve property in the hottest real estate district in our state for one of the wealthiest corporations in the world. And I'm glad they're here, but we need to be investing in the things that government is supposed to do well, that will provide an environment here for business investment and growth. Things like a great transportation system, an education system that is producing a workforce that is the most talented workforce in the world, affordable housing.
So do we want Amazon to come with 50,000 more jobs, everybody going 10 miles an hour, and nobody can afford an apartment or a house anymore? I mean, it'd be good if they came and we ended up like out in Washington State?
Think about our transportation system, our housing supply can't support the workforce we have. I don't know where 50,000 people are going to go. I'd be shocked if they chose to come here. And we shouldn't be giving taxpayer subsidies away to this stuff. We need to be investing in fixing the infrastructure that supports business growth. There are thousands of businesses right here in Massachusetts who make decisions every day to invest or not. They need to depend on their workforce to get to work on time. I've got a plan to do it, to raise $3 billion to invest, to fix our transportation system much more aggressively than Governor Baker is going to do.
I want to be clear, though, whether it's Amazon or the next Amazon, as governor, would you not consider tax breaks and infrastructure support to lure a company? As your view is, we're just going to sell
I'm not saying never, maybe modest, but not $125 million. I mean, that is by far the biggest corporate tax break that we've given to anybody.
Amazon, it wasn't a tax break.
It was not a tax break. It was an investment in our own real estate.
Amazon's going to want a ton of stuff. I mean, there's some places in this country that talked about giving them billions. What would you give them? The public's entitled to know. What would
I would not give Amazon anything.
Nothing?
No.
What would you be willing to give Amazon to get them here, the second headquarters?
I would only be interested in doing stuff that was associated with what I would call public betterments. I do think in some cases public betterments are a good investment. I mean, and we do that with some frequency.
Does that mean zero offers and tax breaks, zero tax breaks for Amazon to come here from the state?
I would only do public betterments, yeah. I mean, if you think about a lot of the investments that we make through various programs, it's typically around infrastructure and other kinds of investments that benefit more than just the business that might be interested in coming there. And those turn out to be pretty effective. I mean, for a few $1 million in investments in infrastructure, road work, utilities, and that kind of stuff, in many cases you can get hundreds of millions of dollars worth of private investment alongside it. And that's the sort of thing I could see doing.
Quickly, please. Do you have something to say?
I don't oppose modest investments in infrastructure. I was a part of some of those in the Patrick administration. Nothing like $125 million. And Amazon is one of the wealthiest companies in the world. If they want to come here, it should be because of our great workforce, because of our great assets here in Massachusetts, and we shouldn't need to be spending more taxpayer money to get them here.